This video took me 15 minutes to make, and I repeat this process multiple times a day. At full capacity, I could produce almost 1,000 videos a month. It all comes down to the 90-10 rule, a framework developed by Dallas Clounch of the AI Surfer. Stick around because I'm going to show you how that framework makes this kind of output possible. So, how am I able to do it? The person speaking to you right now is my AI avatar. I didn't film this. This video started as a voice memo I recorded while traveling to my next meeting. That voice memo became the script, the visual plan, the edit structure, and the campaign surrounding this video. I didn't ask a chatbot to write a caption. I gave an AI system one piece of real business expertise and told it to build the campaign. That is the difference between using an AI tool and operating an AI production team. In this video, I'm going to show you the complete workflow. One real customer question goes in. A long-form video, short clips, written posts, an email, and a Google Business Profile update come out. But the business owner still controls the parts AI should never own: the truth, the judgment, the expertise, the taste, and the final decision. We'll start with how the system learns the business, move through production and editing, and finish with how one idea becomes an entire week of coordinated content. First, we need to fix the way most people are using AI. Most people are using AI video backwards. They open ChatGPT and type, "Write me a video about plumbing." The AI writes something generic like, "Are you tired of dealing with plumbing problems?" And that is how the internet ends up buried under a pile of AI slop. Even after the script is done, the owner still has to film the video, find the footage, edit it, add captions, resize it, write the posts, and decide where everything should go. That isn't an AI workflow. It is one AI task trapped inside a manual workflow. The real opportunity is connecting the entire process, from research and strategy to production, distribution, and performance analysis. That is where Traction comes in. Traction is the AI-powered content operating system we are building for small businesses. It remembers the business, carries that context through the entire production process, and turns one real piece of expertise into a coordinated campaign. Instead of asking the owner to manage a pile of disconnected AI tools, Traction directs the workflow from strategy and scripting through production, repurposing, and distribution. Included in the platform is HeyGen, which can provide the presenter. Kling and Runway create the supporting media. Final Cut provides the final human polish. But Traction is the system connecting all of it. That context is what keeps the machines from producing polished nonsense. Before AI creates anything, it needs to understand the business. Inside Traction, the business profile stores the company's services, audience, offers, service area, pricing, customer problems, priorities, differentiators, and brand story. Think of it as a business twin, not a visual clone of the owner, a working model of how the business thinks. Orbit doesn't need to begin every conversation by asking what the company does. It already knows whether it is working with a plumber in Phoenix, a stylist in Dallas, an accountant serving contractors, or a real estate agent trying to win more listings. It understands what the business sells, who should care, which claims the company can honestly support, and what action the customer should take next. That persistent memory is the difference between AI that sounds intelligent and AI that sounds like your business. A good prompt can produce a paragraph. Context can produce an entire system. Now we give the system one real customer question. For this example, why does my water heater run out of hot water so quickly? But we don't stop with the question. We give the AI evidence. That might include a short voice memo from the owner, a photograph of the water heater, a customer review, the company's service offer, a realistic price range, and the action we want the viewer to take. Now the system has more than a topic. It can understand the owner's explanation, examine the image, connect the customer's concern to the service, and identify the tension hiding underneath the question. The owner may think the subject is water heater maintenance. The customer is thinking, am I about to lose hot water completely? How expensive is this going to be? And can I trust the person explaining it? That is the real content brief. AI shouldn't merely summarize what the owner said. It should uncover why the customer cares. Before we go any further, stay with me until the end. I'm going to show you how to put your business forward to receive a custom AI video built with this exact system. And one business watching this will be selected. Once the system understands the business and the customer question, it can examine the idea from several different angles. The strategist looks for the commercial opportunity. The customer researcher identifies the fear, confusion, and desired outcome. The hook writer develops openings from different psychological angles. The skeptic removes vague or unsupported claims. The visual director decides what the viewer should see. And the distributor adapts the message for each platform. These aren't 6 people sitting through a 3-hour meeting. Nobody brought stale bagels. They are 6 structured passes through the same business context. For the water heater video, one hook might lead with a warning. If your shower goes cold in 5 minutes, your water heater may be warning you before it fails. Another might lead with money. The difference between a service visit and a full replacement could be the warning signs you ignore this month. A third might challenge an assumption. Your water heater may not be too small. The real problem could be collecting at the bottom of the tank. Then the system critiques the options. Which hook is the most specific? Which creates real curiosity? Which matches the customer's concern? Which one can the business support honestly? And which one actually sounds like this company, rather than every company on the internet? The human chooses the winner. That is where the 90-10 rule begins. AI generates possibilities at machine speed. Human judgment decides what deserves to exist. Once the angle is approved, the system builds more than a script. It creates the narration, storyboard, shot list, on-screen text, visual prompts, sound cues, thumbnail concepts, short-form cut-downs, and alternate openings. Every line has a job. If the narration explains sediment collecting inside the tank, the visual director calls for a transparent cutaway. If the script compares a service visit with a replacement, the system creates a clear price comparison frame. And when the customer needs proof, the shot list calls for real footage from an actual job site. The AI is no longer just helping us write. It is translating expertise into production instructions. Before we generate a single frame, we already know what the viewer should hear, see, understand, and do next. The same approved idea can be produced in several ways. The real owner can record 1 or 2 takes while AI assists with transcription, audio cleanup, captions, reframing, and the first edit. The script can also go into Hey Gen, allowing a trained avatar to deliver the message without requiring the owner to record a new performance every week. Or the video can skip the presenter entirely and use an AI voice over real footage, diagrams, generated demonstrations, animated text, and before and after visuals. One approved idea can become an owner-led video, a scalable avatar video, or a visual explainer. The system chooses the format that best serves the message. This is where AI video becomes more than an avatar talking against a digital background. For the water heater example, I can start with one reference image and build a consistent visual world around it. So the technician, uniform, service vehicle, location, lighting, and overall style all feel like they belong in the same production. Without that consistency, the technician changes faces, the van changes colors, the uniform suddenly has 17 buttons, and one scene somehow ends up in Switzerland. That is why we create a visual Bible before generating the footage. It defines the character, wardrobe, environment, camera style, color temperature, lens, movement, and everything the model must keep consistent. Kling can create still assets and reference-based visuals. Runway can turn those ideas into motion. The system might generate a close-up of sediment moving through the tank, a transparent cutaway that would be impossible to film, a dramatic visualization of heat loss, or a transition from a minor service cost to a full replacement. Those are scenes a local business would rarely have the time, equipment, or budget to produce. But there is an important rule. Use real footage for proof. Use AI footage for explanation, visualization, metaphor, and imagination. Never fake a customer result. Never manufacture evidence. Never make a business appear to have completed work it didn't complete. AI should expand what the customer can understand. It should never distort what actually happened. Before I open Final Cut, AI creates the first edit map. It identifies where the hook should land, when the supporting footage should appear, where the customer's question belongs on screen, and where the rhythm needs to change. For example, the video might open on the presenter, cut to the inside of the water heater, return to the customer's question, interrupt the frame with a price comparison, and then remove the music for one beat before revealing the answer. That change is a pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt is any deliberate change that breaks expectation and resets attention. It could be a new camera angle, a sudden close-up, a sound effect, a full screen phrase, a visual joke, or a moment of complete silence. And yes, the change you just experienced was a pattern interrupt. AI can identify where the video becomes visually predictable and recommend a reset. It can also build several different openings from the same master video, one based on fear, one based on money, and one based on curiosity. Then I open Final Cut. But I'm no longer staring at an empty timeline trying to invent the whole video from scratch. The system has already completed the first editorial pass. My job is to sharpen the rhythm, reject weak choices, improve the emotional timing, and make the final result feel intentional. AI creates the abundance. The editor creates the taste. Once the master video is approved, Traction multiplies the idea. But it doesn't paste the same caption everywhere. It adapts the message to the way people behave on each platform. The YouTube version gets a searchable title, a deeper explanation, chapters, and a thumbnail concept. The Instagram Reel opens faster and relies more heavily on visual captions. The TikTok version may begin with a sharper interruption or a direct question. The LinkedIn version turns the lesson into a business insight. The Google Business Profile update becomes local, useful, and action-oriented, and the customer email becomes direct and personal. The system can also pull several short videos from the master. One might focus on the warning sign, another could focus on cost, and another could address the customer's biggest misconception. One expert answer has now become a long-form video, multiple short videos, written posts, an email, a local update, several hooks, and a publishing plan. That is more than repurposing. It is coordinated content production. Most content workflows stop when the post goes live. An AI native system should become smarter after publication. Which hook held attention? Where did viewers leave? Which sentence generated comments? What questions kept appearing? And which piece of content produced a profile visit, reply, or lead? Those answers become the input for the next production cycle. If viewers keep asking whether flushing the tank will solve the problem, that becomes the next video. If the cost comparison earns the most saves, the system develops another cost-based angle. If customers repeatedly use the same phrase in comments and reviews, that language becomes part of the next hook. The content is no longer just marketing. It becomes demand intelligence. Every video teaches the business what the market cares about, and every market signal improves the next video. In the end, the entire system comes down to one formula: 90% AI, 10% human. The 90% AI handles the volume. It takes care of the repetitive work behind the research, planning, scripting, production, repurposing, and distribution. But the 10% human is where the real value lives. That is the truth, the expertise, the judgment, the taste, and the final decision about what deserves to go out into the world. That is what we are building Traction to coordinate. Traction remembers the business, carries its context through the entire workflow, and turns one real piece of human expertise into a complete campaign. The goal isn't to replace the person behind the business. It is to give that person a production system powerful enough to keep up with what they already know. This video is proof. It started with one voice memo. The production was 90% AI, but the direction, the judgment, and the final approval were 10% human. And that human 10% is what made the video worth creating. As promised, now I'm going to run this complete workflow on a real business, starting with nothing but one unedited voice memo. That business could be yours. If you want me to create a custom AI video for your business and document the entire process, comment "My Business" below. Comment "My Business." I'll choose one business from the comments.